I am excited to announce that I am no longer crippled by depression. I do think I'm manic now, though. I don't think it's going to be anything serious. Hopefully, I feel like as the years go on, I become more and more self-aware of my behaviors. I'm able to catch on really, really quickly. Like, I already knew I'm manic because I stayed up for 24 hours, wasn't tired at all, woke up at 6 a.m., and it was like, you're manic. I woke up this morning and I watched the sunrise, and then I made breakfast. I made a Chef Struggles special. The Chef Struggle special is basically like a BLT, but like not. I toast the bread on the oven with like butter. Then I make bacon. I add onions, tomato, and then chipotle sauce, and it is all so good. I love this meal so much, and I love making it. It was like my safe food at one point. I also have Gatorade. I've been feeling really good the past few days, despite the fact that I've not been able to sleep at all. I feel like I'm no longer being completely weighed down by depression. I can get out of bed. I can get things done. I put my sheets to wash this morning. And like whenever I feel this way, it really reminds me that like Stephanie, the depression is depression. It's not just you. It's not just you being lazy. If I had the energy, which I do now, I instantly went back into my healthy lifestyle. And I think it really shows that like I really gaslight myself a lot. I listen to other people's opinions over my own intentions. Like I know what my intentions are whenever I'm laying in bed because I'm crippled by depression. I'm not being lazy. I don't want to not work. Whenever I'm manic, I'm probably about to go get a job as a server so that way I can save up to go live in my car, which is something we're going to talk about. But I really need to work on trusting myself more than the external opinions of others or the external assumptions of others and the assumptions that I create in my head that I assume that they're thinking. It's not even like some people tell me that they're thinking I'm lazy, which they have. It's me almost assuming that they think that every single second of every single day. So that's something I need to work on as well. You can see the sun beaming directly down on me. It's really nice though. It's like a spotlight. The sun is just for me, guys. The sun is not for you. Stop saying like. Also, another reason I know I'm manic is because I woke up this morning and just instantly took out my retainer and brushed my teeth. Who is she? Pearly whites. I made a video on my TikTok this morning talking about how you shouldn't limit yourself because of limited people. And I was talking about how some people, they are taught to think very small-mindedly. They are very limited on what they think they can do and what they can learn. And I think everybody has limits, but I think some people have bigger and smaller limits than others. And I was talking about how every single person on earth has a purpose. Like no matter what you think, you do have a purpose. You will contribute to this earth, no matter if you like it or not. The actions you take is what you put out. So if you treat people like shit, and then you complain about how you're always treated like shit, what you put out is what you will get. But some people, their life's purpose is not to be educated, not to spread awareness. Their life purpose might be to help people in their small town or to care for someone who might need special needs. Every single person has importance and different purpose in this life. I am surrounded by so much love, and I feel like that is such a blessing now because growing up I was loved, but I also wasn't really shown it a lot because of the amount of anger I kind of experienced during certain years, a lot of years. So I am in a very loving and accepting environment, but I'm not currently living in an environment where it is encouraged to educate yourself and it's not encouraged to broaden your perspective. And I feel like that's what my purpose is. And I feel like I'm here to spread awareness and to broaden my perspectives and not to stay limited on what I have been taught, but to teach myself more and to make an active effort to do that. So recently I've really been thinking about moving into my car. It's something I've thought about multiple times. Whenever I first started talking about religion on my account, I really thought I was going to get kicked out from where I live because my best friends are all Christian, my family's Christian, my best friends' families are all Christian. So whenever I started outwardly talking about my own beliefs and how I disagreed with Christianity and just religion in a whole, I wasn't just targeting Christianity. Christianity is just what I was raised to believe, and that's what I had to kind of deconstruct from. Even though I was never truly a Christian, I was taught a lot of core beliefs that I had to kind of work on for a little while. I'm very thankful they weren't as strong beliefs that I had to spend 5 years in therapy to kind of change my perspective. But anyways, I thought I was going to get kicked out because the devil's in their house and I'm talking about all these things, whatever. So I planned out how I was going to fit all of my belongings in my car. I was going to move away that night. I was like, I have to get out. Didn't happen, thankfully. We did have a talk. It was a really rough time with my friendships for a little while, but I think things are starting to settle because I'm not going to change the way I'm verbalizing my beliefs. They verbalized their beliefs all their lives, and I've done nothing but support them and listen to them, even though I have not believed what they believed. And I feel like I would really respect if they could give that back to me. I know obviously on my platform I'm talking about how much I disagree with their religions, but I've done nothing again but support them in person. I do understand it's very difficult to have a best friend who fundamentally disagrees with everything you believe in. So it's just such a complicated situation because I understand their frustration, but I also wish they would understand that I'm doing what they've done their whole life. It's just now the opposite situation. The crazy thing is that I believe in God now. I didn't believe in God. I didn't have faith before I started reading the Bible. The Bible is what I don't believe in the God in the Bible. Hot take, but I think the God in the Bible is actually an alien. I know, don't come for me, but I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in Christianity. I think the Bible holds a lot of truths and it can show us a lot from what happened in history, but I don't think everything inside that should be used as a guide or as a way to live life by any means. I would not worship a God that would kill millions of people just because they didn't do what he said. And that's my personal choice and that's my personal opinion, and I'm entitled to that opinion. But I do have faith now, and it's so strange because I've never been a faithful person. I've never really believed in faith, like in the sense of like wholeheartedly believing in a higher power or thinking you know the truth. I think I know the truth, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not going to sit here and argue with people thinking I'm right when we don't know. But I do have faith in something greater. I do have faith in the universe, source, God. And I think just because I'm against religion, my friends kind of thought that was, oh, you're an atheist now. You don't believe in God. And they never asked me any questions. They haven't asked me about what I believe in. And sometimes that kind of hurts me because it just feels one-sided, where I've done nothing but listen to them talk about their beliefs growing up, and I've tried to support them. Sometimes there are times I ask them some critical questions. I've questioned some things they believe, which I think is completely reasonable. They've done it to me too. There was one time I went to the farm with Riley and Sarah, and we were all hanging out. We had a really good day, and then at the end they kind of like bombarded me, and they were kind of just telling me about how everything I was saying was wrong, and anytime I would give them an answer, they would just tell me how I was wrong and like what I should think. I just tried to be patient and understand that they couldn't comprehend that I believed in something different but something similar. They really just thought that I was an atheist and that I didn't believe in faith and all this kind of stuff. They were like, how do you know like what people experience? And I was like, I'm not a believer of blind faith. I think blind faith is extremely dangerous, but I think faith can be beautiful. And I just felt like they weren't listening to me. They weren't actually hearing me. It was almost like they were only experiencing their cognitive dissonance to where anything I said could not be accepted. It wasn't even like I needed them to believe me. I was just trying to help them understand what my beliefs were, and it was just not accepted. I don't even need them to respect it either. This is such a complicated situation. This is such a time in my life where I'm starting to really have a voice and be confident in what I believe and be confident in who I am, not caring about who I lose, because if you're going to drop me as a friend, or you're no longer going to be friends with me because I'm being true to myself and I'm no longer tailoring myself to make you happy, like that's not the energy I need and want in my life, you know? With all that being said, I love my best friends and I am surrounded by love in this neighborhood, but I feel like I'm in this time of my life where I need to start being on my own, you know? And this is a natural part of like becoming an adult, you know? I'm not just saying this because I think I'm special, you know? I'm becoming an adult. I no longer want to live under somebody else's roof, under somebody else's rules, always fearing my living situation is in somebody else's hands, and you never know when someone's going to turn on you just because they don't agree with something that you say or do. I think I just have a lot of deep-rooted trauma, and I don't think it's very healthy for me or my nervous system to live under somebody else's roof with people who think completely differently and hold completely different values. So I think I'm moving into my car. This is going to be a really big adventure for me. I feel like I'm going into uncharted waters, you know, in my life. Good majority of the beginning of my life, up until I was about 16, 17 years old, I was constantly in a state of fear, and my nervous system has always been disrupted. I've never known stability and security. I've just never known that kind of safety. And I feel like after getting out of the abusive environment, whenever I got to live with my dad primarily, and then I started to experience life without my mom, and I started to be able to heal and start acknowledging the truth of my situation and start acknowledging all the harmful things that happened to me. I wish people would understand, whenever you're in an abusive situation, you don't really know it's abusive because all you know is all you know. You only know what you've been taught. How could you possibly think that's all there is to know? But some people really think that way, but I don't want to be judgmental, so let me move on. But I feel like I've tried to live my life in such safety where I've isolated myself to such an extent where I don't have any human interaction, rarely. And yes, I have autism, so I do like my alone time, but it's been very, very lonely because I've just been so isolated. And now, especially since I've come out about my own beliefs, there has been a bit of like a different dynamic in my relationships. And hopefully over time that will continue to get better and be worked on, because it might just be a rough patch right now that we have to learn and work through. I just think it's time for me to push myself to live my life. It's really unfortunate that I had to be under so much stress for such a long time. And I really hope hope this adventure doesn't bring more stress, but rather more adventure and excitement. But obviously stress will be a part of it. And I have chronic stress, so I know that like there will be challenges with this. It's not a matter of like, oh, I'm going into this thinking it won't be challenging. No, I want to be challenged, and that's why I'm doing it, because I love watching van life videos. I love watching RV videos. My sister and her girlfriend live in a van, and I want to live in an RV van so bad. So I feel like living in my car will give me my first sense of like true autonomy and adventure, because I feel like any adventure I've had has just been an escape from trauma, and I just want to go on an adventure that's an adventure to enjoy, not to escape, which I guess it kind of would be to escape, but like not really. I want to just go out in the world and become my own person and to have new experiences, you know? It's not like I'm going to be living and sleeping in my car every single day alone. I'm going to be driving to Florida. I'm going to be hanging out with my family. I have places to sleep. I have very little things, so I have more than enough room in my car for my stuff, and I'll have extra room afterwards. Oh, sorry about that. My best friend Gray called me. She's been struggling recently, and I told her to call me anytime she like needs someone, and I saw her call and I was like, immediately. Can I just take a moment to appreciate Gray in this video, because Gray has just been such a light in my life recently. Like, she has shown me that people can come into your life and show you a different type of love and acceptance that you've never ever experienced before. Nobody has ever understood me in the way that Gray has. Gray and I think very, very similarly. We're both autistic. We both have BPD. We're both very, very open-minded. And I feel like we're able to talk to each other and teach each other and learn from each other. And there are no limits. There are no barriers. There's literally no restrictions to the conversations and the things that we can learn together. And I just really, really appreciate that. Anytime I need to talk to someone about something, I know I can always go to my sister Victoria, or I can go to Gray. But I know that I'm always able to have Gray or Vic to talk to about religion and spirituality and where I want to go in my life. Gray has just done so much to open up my perspectives and to show me what real friendship can really look like. Because the people I love in my life, you know, my sisters, my best friend, well, they're all my sisters to me mentally, but I don't really have many friends that are people that haven't been in my life forever, that aren't obligated to love me. But with Gray, I'm just so thankful to have someone in my life that is getting to know the new me. I'm able to share my past with her, and she's getting to know the past me, the current me, like who I am, like as a whole. She doesn't have this already built construct of who I am because of who I was in the past, like a lot of people in my life, which is just normal in life. But she sees me for who I want to be and what I want to do and how I want to help people. She knows my intentions, she knows my soul, and that's just really, really important to me. I'm pretty sure I was still talking about my car before I had to end the video, so I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right back into that. Whenever I do eventually move my life into my car and I drive away from the house that I call my home right now, I'm pretty sure I'm going to invest in a tent and different camping supplies, so that way whenever I'm not with family or whenever I'm not traveling and visiting people, I'm able to drive to parks and sleep overnight in parks, and I'm able to camp. I'm just really excited for this new journey because I don't know where it's gonna take me, but I can go anywhere I want because I've constructed this life for myself that I knew what I wanted. Everybody has always told me what I should do, and everybody's always told me that I need to get a regular job, I need to do this, I need to do that. What society always tells you what you need to do, which obviously money is important in society, don't get me wrong, but I have constructed this life for myself. I have never stopped believing in myself. I am living my dream right now. Obviously, I don't have fancy mansions and a lot of money and a lot of security, but I am so thankful that I'm literally living off of the money I make off of social media. That has always been my dream, to be able to live off of my videos. Even though it's not a lot right now and I have very little bills, it's a dream come true. I've created this job for myself, especially if I keep growing and building. I can travel the world and get paid for it if I make videos, and if I'm able to help people and encourage people and give them something, give them a reason to keep coming back to my videos. You know, I want to give off value to some extent. I don't know, maybe not these video diaries, because I don't really know what these video diaries could do for anybody else. They're just me talking about my life and problems. But if I had stopped believing in myself and my dream, I would not be able to live this life where I'm not obligated by somebody else's schedule and I'm not obligated to clock in at a certain time. I literally get to do whatever I want with my time because I have lived a very minimalistic life. I express gratitude every single day of my life, and I've prepared myself for this moment for whenever I'm an adult, to where I still have to work for it and I'm still having to grow and grow and grow, because I can't sustain myself off of a couple $100s a month for the rest of my life, you know? But I think that me going into my car, me saving up as a server whenever I live in Orlando for about a month to prepare myself for this journey, I just really see all of the amazing places it can go. And yes, of course, I can see all of the failures. Trust me, that's what I saw first. But I'm trying to remind myself the reality you think about is the reality that you manifest. So if all I do is manifest a reality where my car breaks down or something happens or I run out of money, whatever it might be, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to manifest that into my reality. So I want to be careful and intentional with the words that I speak, because I think it really is important, the reality that you create for yourself, especially as someone with BPD, living in such a diluted reality for such a long time and such a hurtful and disconnected reality from the universe and just nature and just love. It's really, really hard to get out of that and find the light and to find this perspective and to find a reality that you're happy in, because whenever you have BPD, reality sucks because you've been brainwashed and taught all of the wrong lessons and you've been taught all of the wrong things and you have all of the wrong core beliefs. I do want to take a second to appreciate myself and to say I'm proud of myself for all of the work I've done, because I really have completely switched my mindset. But I'm proud of myself because even though I haven't had resources like therapy and doctors and medication to help myself with my conditions, I think I have done such an exceptional job at creating a better reality for myself, regardless of what everybody else thinks and says. And I've done it all on my own for the most part, with support obviously, but I haven't had people walking me down this path. I've walked it alone. And I'm happy that I've been able to help other people while I've been on this journey and make my videos and make new friends. But I am really, really thankful for myself because I survived all of the things I had to go through in childhood. I did a lot of hurtful things in childhood, but I have grown from them. And I'm just really excited for this new chapter in my life because I'm finally out of my childhood mentally. I'm finally out of my teen years mentally. I still struggle with a lot of my trauma and a lot of my conditions, which is a given. They're not going to go away overnight just because I have a better mindset. But I am excited for my future and where I'm going to go and what's going to happen. I see more deer. Earlier this morning while I was watching the sunrise, I saw so many deer going across the lawn, and I was showing my friend Gray while I was sending her Snapchat videos, and I really wish I was down there so I could like see them and hang out with them. I love nature and I love animals so much. I love deer. There's like 3 of them. I'm so thankful for this backyard. Like, I know obviously this isn't my property, but like living here and this being my home is such a blessing. Being able to go down to that spot in the forest, being able to sit up here, such a blessing. I'm very, very thankful for it, which is even more exciting because now that I'm going to be on the road and be having my life in my car, I can go to national parks and I can go camping in nature and I can literally sleep in nature every night. I can go see beautiful views anytime I want. I don't know why, but I feel like anytime I live in somebody else's home, I always end up with this mentality of feeling like trapped, like I can't leave. I have to stay in my room. I have to be safe. I have autonomy to go explore the world and have a place to live. I feel like my brain mentally restricts me, but like now that I'm going to be in my car as my home, now I can take my home anywhere, which means I can go anywhere. I'm just so excited. Obviously, yes, there's things that could happen, disappointments, expectations not being fulfilled, but I also don't have expectations for anything because I believe that if you hold expectations for things, you're always going to be disappointed. If you hold people to certain expectations they didn't ask to be held to, then you're going to be disappointed. If you hold expectations for a fun little movie coming out that you think is supposed to be perfect and then it's not, you're going to be disappointed. So I feel like whenever you hold expectations in life, you're always going to be disappointed. Well, obviously, like, expectations aren't bad in itself, but like holding expectations to an unhealthy extent, I think, is just a way to decrease your quality of life, if you know what I mean. So I don't hold expectations for people. I don't hold expectations for life. I just live and things happen. I do think I should end this clip here. I will be back later probably. My phone is about to die, so I don't want it to die in the middle of me talking. I almost finished my food. I'm gonna eat this last bite. Thank you for listening to me yap, but I will see you in the next clip. Sarah's here.
You might need to move your car. Do you think Haley can get out? If she knows how to drive, then. What are you doing?
I'm passing my tongue.
I really drank half an hour. So, the bladder is bladdering. Do you...
Don't I look sexy? I spent the night at Riley's house last night. Sarah and I had a sleepover there. I drank. I'm not super hungover or anything, but the sun is really fucking bright and Shadi needs to chill the fuck down. So I put my glasses on. But a police officer was just following me for like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, and then it like pulled over to the side, I'm assuming because I wasn't doing anything, and after a while it was like, okay, this isn't an unsafe driver. But thankfully nothing happened. Maybe it wasn't even them trailing me. The reason I'm recording right now though is because I want to talk about a couple things. For one, I kind of want to talk about how faith is so difficult whenever you have autism. I can't even explain this to you. I want to try a lifestyle where I have faith. I want to get into spirituality. I believe that the universe, source, God is real, but I don't know. It's so hard to have faith because in my head, I can't not acknowledge the fact of confirmation bias. I don't know the truth. It's so complicated, it is so confusing, but I'm gonna try my best because I really do want to try to live a life where I want to make a lot of change, and I really do believe that we are all energetic beings. Like, we are literally energy. That's already proven. There's energy in our body. Regardless, after we die, our energy is going to be emitted into the universe. You might go into a chair or something. You might not go into the universe. I don't know, but we're energy regardless. That's already been proven. Energy, frequency, all of these things are proven. If you guys haven't looked at the CIA leaked documents and documents that have been unclassified, I really encourage everyone to educate themselves and to look at the CIA documents and to look at the resources that we have to learn about the world we're in from a lens that's not just the brainwashed, controlled society that they want you to see. But anyways, having faith can be really difficult whenever you're autistic because you just don't know. But to my next thing, which kind of goes hand in hand with this thing, but dude, I genuinely think I'm on the right path. I genuinely think this. So I talked to my guardian angels or spirit guides for the first time. I watched the video, I learned about them, and I was like, oh, let me give this a try. Don't knock it till you try it. So I started talking and I was like, please show me a sign that I'm on the right path. And in the video about the spirit guides and guardian angels and stuff, it talked about how you have to ask them for assistance. I asked two things. I asked, please show me signs that I'm on the right path. And two, please help guide me on a path that will help me find answers about my breathing problems. They're really, really bad. Please help lead me on a path where I get assistance for my lungs, where I'm able to find clarity. Literally that night, I had posted a TikTok video of me talking about my breathing problems because I had just made myself throw up by sticking a straw down my throat. I was trying to unclog my lungs because I couldn't breathe. And one of my mutuals, Jen, I have a video on here with her. It's the BPD episode for Cluster Busters. Love her, she's so amazing. And she commented so much useful information about asthma, and she was telling me you probably have severe asthma. The systems are really consistent with the condition. She told me to go to urgent care and get an inhaler, so hopefully whenever I get paid I can remember and go to urgent care and get an inhaler so I can try it out. Hopefully it won't be too expensive. She said it wasn't too expensive. So because of that, I also ended up sending her a video on Instagram because, again, we're mutuals, we're friends. And I was like, listen, I'm still getting into the faith. I seem silly, but I'm also trying to remind myself that I'm not silly if I want to have faith, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to say thank you because I talked to my spirit guides for the first time and I asked for help with my breathing problems to help lead me on a path where I am able to get some answers. And I feel like you gave me so much clarity that night with all of the helpful information you gave me. And she responded, she was so sweet. She was like, I'm so happy you listened to the universe and you listened to yourself. And she was basically so encouraging, and she's spiritual as well. She's actually more spiritual than me. I'm sure she has full faith, and for me it's very difficult because I'm still trying to get into it. I think the universe will understand that I will never be able to be blindly faithful because blind faith is just, I know how dangerous that is. I feel like when people are blindly faithful, they deny evidence that can show them a different perspective of what they might believe in, and I just never want to get to the point where I deny evidence because if I were to accept that evidence I would have to change the way I think. I just want to have open-minded beliefs where I am accepting of all evidence and information. I'm not ignorant. If you could tell, my biggest fear is being ignorant. Anyways, that was one thing, and I was like, two, I asked for a sign to show me that I'm on the right path. I don't want to be a hurtful person. I don't want to do things that harm others. I want to make sure my actions are reflecting for the greater good. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and I know that sometimes I can be extremely arrogant. I can be extremely condescending whenever I get really frustrated with our society, and I start to talk in a more condescending and arrogant tone because people just piss me off. I'm obviously working on that because it pisses me off too. If it annoys you, trust me, it annoys me too. I feel like whenever that happens, it's like a reminder that I'm human and I'm forced to fucking have these human flaws as well, and it pisses me off. So anyways, I just want to be on the right path. In the Bible, it talks about looking upon the heavens. I think the heavens literally was just the universe. Do you think humans back then could comprehend the amazing stars, moon, sun, everything? I think that the heavens is just space. It's the universe. It's beautiful. It's expansive. But I searched up what the spiritual meaning of a solar eclipse is because I was like, astrology, I want to get into this stuff. Let's see. Let's test the waters. I pulled over so I could reread what the Google said exactly, so I wasn't using the wrong vocabulary. And this is what it fucking means. A solar eclipse stands entirely in the name of transformation. We can use this time to consciously leave old ballast behind and open a new chapter. A time we can set intentions, create visions, and focus on everything we want to change. Listen, I really do understand confirmation bias, and I acknowledge it still wholeheartedly right now. But I have full faith that within this time of my life right now, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I'm going exactly where I'm supposed to go. I cry because I don't even understand my own potential, bro. I think about it sometimes from an outside perspective, not in an egotistical way, but it's overwhelming because I'm like, what the fuck? Why do I think this way? Why is my brain like this all of a sudden? Like, have I always been this person? Have I always had this potential? I pulled over again because I want to go look at the TikTok that I'm about to reference. But I think what shocks me the most about this solar eclipse is that in my video, I even talked about how I'm going to start my new life after the solar eclipse. I'm moving out of my best friend's house after I go on my solar eclipse trip. I used the solar eclipse already as my pinpoint to whenever I was going to start this new adventure. So I just think that it's such, even if it is a coincidence, I think that's just such a beautiful coincidence. And I think that's just amazing. And I'm so fucking excited for this next part of my life. Like, you have no idea. I'm so excited for the challenges, the hardships. I'm so excited for all the things I'm gonna learn and experience. Living out of your car, I'm going to be able to go anywhere, anytime I want. So I got distracted in my car and I started listening to music, so we're gonna continue here at home. I also just tried to make breakfast because I'm so hungry, but I burnt both bagels I tried to make, so I just gave up. The second sign I saw is a TikTok that came up on my For You page, and the beginning part of it was, if you're thinking about traveling in your 20s, and then it was a slideshow, and the last slide of the slideshow was obviously the paragraph, the words, the purpose of the slideshow. And it was talking about changing your perception on living, honestly. Most times when we think of affordable living and budgeting and lifestyle, we always think of housing, apartments, but sometimes we can change our perspectives that we don't need to have an address. And I took that as a sign of like, that's right, let me continue to switch my perspective. I don't need to have a home to live in. I can live out of my car and explore and travel and visit people. So I thought that was really, really nice. I'm really dissociative right now, so I'm probably gonna go ahead and end the clip here. I did want to talk about a couple other things, but I can always just press a red button anytime to continue. So I'm just gonna have a chill day, listen to music. I'm gonna put some things on Facebook Marketplace, start to prepare for my adventure. So unfortunately, here in the United States of America, we do not have great healthcare. If you have money and if you're rich, then you have healthcare. But people like me, so I'm gonna show you how I deal with my possibly undiagnosed asthma. I don't know if I've ever talked about this. I'm sure I have in some of my old episodes, but I can't remember right now. I have like really, really bad breathing problems, and I had breathing problems before I started smoking. I'm not smoking anymore, but basically it like feels like I can't breathe, and sometimes it feels like there's even liquid in my lung, or it feels like my lungs are shriveled up. Like, it feels weird, and it feels like I can't breathe. So what I do sometimes is I stick a straw down my throat. I kind of do this in attempts to like open up my windpipe, and it helps a lot because it always makes me throw up. Like, I always throw up whatever I think is causing me to feel that way. I don't know. It kind of works. I get a little bit of relief from it. I did it the other day and I threw up hot dog pieces, just full hot dog pieces. But yeah. And one of my friends, Jen, she gave me a lot of really useful information about asthma on TikTok. So I do think that after I get paid, I'm gonna go to urgent care and see if they can give me an inhaler. She told me a specific kind or something that they should be able to give me. And hopefully if I have an inhaler, then maybe I'll be able to breathe, because whenever I was doing Uber, I would Uber for like hours a day, but I couldn't. I would literally be sitting in my chair, and if it is asthma, I would literally be having an asthma attack the entire day, and I can't get relief. It has been so frustrating, but I don't want to complain, because if I complain even slightly, people are going to say, it's your issue. You're not working, so of course you don't have healthcare. You're not doing what you need to do to get what you need. I'm not going to fight you. So I'm going to make myself throw up
so I can breathe, because it feels like there's liquid on the bottom of my lungs right here, and hopefully I can get some relief.
A few moments later.
Turns out it might actually be my lung, because I'm trying to throw up and literally nothing's coming out, but I still feel my lung, and it is so uncomfortable. I feel like the moment I get my first inhaler and I take a puff and it instantly gives me relief, if it does, I'm literally gonna just start sobbing on the spot, being like, I have too many health conditions. This is such bullshit. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. My theory used to be that I would eat food and then maybe my stomach got too big and it would push against my lungs. So whenever I would throw up, it would like alleviate the pressure away from my lungs and I'd be able to breathe again. But whenever moments like this happen where it's like, oh, I think I just got a full breath of air in. We're good, we're Gucci. It can just be a lot. It can be really overwhelming, and feeling like you're suffocating all the time is not. By the way, while I'm recording, I might as well update you guys. So I went ahead and I put my toaster oven over there. I sold my Keurig today. I sold my air fryer. I'm selling my black drawers that used to be in between that. I'm kind of preparing myself for my trip to go in my car and live in my car. I'm gonna put you guys on here and we can talk. I also read online that drinking a lot of water will help thin your mucus out and it should help asthma. So I need to start drinking even more water. Now my throat feels coarse though. I've been thinking a lot, and so this is my new updated plan. Obviously, as time goes on, as the episodes go on, the plan's gonna keep evolving and evolving, but this is the stage we're in right now. So I think I might go to Orlando around April 10th after I go see the solar eclipse with my friends, which I'm so excited for. But once I get to Orlando, I'm gonna get a job at Buffalo Wild Wings, which I already know I'm gonna get the job because not only have I worked there before and I was an amazing employee, they did everything they could to try to make me stay, but my dad was evicting me, so I had to go. And then I worked at another Buffalo Wild Wings, which again, I did exceptionally there. So if they were to call them being like, hey, we already know she's good, but like, how do you think she is? And they're like, yeah, hire her, she's awesome. So I have like absolute no doubt that I will not get this job. Every single time I apply to a job, I just know I'm gonna get it. I guess I've never really understood what people say, oh, it's so hard to find a job nowadays. I think it's because I work fast food. I think it's easy to get a job in fast food. So let me clarify that. I'm not saying it's not hard to get a job in career fields. But for me, I apply, I harass them until they answer me back, and then I get the job. I think especially since I worked 2 years at Chick-fil-A, literally anytime any fast food restaurant would see my resume or whatever, they would be like, oh shit, Chick-fil-A, you're hired. So I have really, really high hopes that I'll get the job. And I'm really excited because at Buffalo Wild Wings in Florida, I'll be getting paid like $7 an hour hourly. Did this bitch really? I'll be getting $7 an hour plus tips. Unlike here in Georgia, I got $2 an hour plus tips. So not only will I be making extra money I can be putting into savings, it just is all gonna work out so perfectly. I feel like my life is literally just falling out the way it's meant to. I'll probably end up working at Buffalo Wild Wings for about a month and a half, 2 months. I'll probably stay in Florida until around the end of May because my sister's wedding is going to be in May. I'm not missing that. It just wouldn't make sense for me to go on the road and then come all the way back for my sister's wedding. Then after my sister's wedding, I'm going to get on the road and I'm going to drive across America. I know it sounds crazy and I know it's a really, really big commitment, especially in my car. It's something I really want to do, and I feel like this is an adventure I feel called to go on. I just want to go on it, you know? I'm gonna drive across the southern states and then up the west coast. I'm gonna visit my friend in Canada, and then whenever I'm going back to America, whenever I'm done with all of that throughout the couple months that I'm doing that trip. So after I'm done hanging out with my friend in Canada for however long I end up staying in Canada with her, I'm probably gonna end up driving like back to Georgia. I'm not gonna do the U, so like southeast. See the map here? I'm gonna drive this way all the way to Canada, and this is gonna be spread out through a couple months. Like hypothetically, if I were to drive 3 hours every single day, I would get to California in 8 days. And this is a trip that I want to prolong. Like I want to live out of my car during this time. I want to visit many different states. I want to enjoy nature. I want to go to many different national parks. I'm going to spend a lot of my days reading and just relaxing because I want this to be a time in my life where I have full autonomy and I'm allowing myself time to heal from the trauma and the stress that I've experienced in the past, because I feel like being under constant stress even in the present after going through that in the past, it is extremely stressful. I feel like that's kind of a given though. So I just want to give myself this time to shamelessly live my life how I want to live it. And no, I'm not working a typical job. And no, I'm not working every single day, all day, every day. I'm literally just going to be living a life where I'm going anywhere I want to, anytime I want to, and staying there however long I want to, then leaving whenever I want to, you know? I also just feel like it would be really nice to travel the United States because I do plan on moving out of the United States. I just don't think I benefit a lot from this country. I do think it has a lot of of pros, a lot of fucking cons, but I'm not gonna not acknowledge the pros. After my trip around the United States, I'm probably gonna go ahead and travel different parts of the world and backpack. So once I'm done with that part of it, I want to backpack across Europe, because I'm pretty sure Europe is where you're able to travel anywhere and everywhere through the train systems, and it's very inexpensive, or at least it's not nearly as expensive as it would be to travel around the United States, as a tourist rather. So yeah, I'm just trying to dream big. I'm trying to open up my perception of what I'm capable of, because I think we have this molded perception by society that we're not capable of as much as we are, because if we acknowledged how much we're capable of, then the people in power wouldn't have nearly as much power. And what they're doing isn't illegal. I just think it's immoral, and teaching people and conditioning people, brainwashing people to think a certain way so that way you can benefit in that sense. Like, so weird, so weird. And just like in the Old Testament of the Bible, exactly what God was doing to humans. God created humans for the sole purpose to have them as mindless slaves to control them, and to have little servants that would praise him because he's a jealous and insecure as fuck God. I know I mentioned it earlier in the video, but I wholeheartedly think, hear me when I say this, okay? Hear me when I say this. Yes, because Stephanie's a conspiracy theorist. I'm not running for office or anything. I can sound like a kook if I want to. And I don't even think I'm a kook. I think I'm genuinely on the right path, but who knows? I think the God in the Old Testament, the biggest case of identity theft ever. Biggest case of identity theft in the fucking universe. The point of Earth was to get humans to the point of ignorant. Humans don't know anything. We come to this earth as a soul, or potentially we come to this earth as a soul, and we lose all of our memory. We don't know what happened before we came to earth. We don't know what happens after we leave earth. We are here to be rock bottom ignorant, for our souls to have the opportunity to go on this lesson journey, to expand in a way that isn't possible in the soul form, I'm pretty sure, the light form, or whatever it would be. And I think that the God in the Old Testament, because it's evil, I'm so sorry, I'm going to say this bluntly, I don't care if I offend you. If you worship the God in the Old Testament, you really need to look deep inside you and ask yourself, what the fuck, and read that shit again without the lens of what the church has taught you. Sorry. Again, like, I honestly, no, I'm not even sorry. I think we are in a time of history, we are in a time of life on earth where we can no longer accept these low vibrational beliefs that are very illogical. But basically, I think that there were very malicious and evil aliens. Yes. And they created humans. So in the Bible, it was true. They created humans, but they created humans for the sole purpose of having slaves and to be worshipped. So yeah, that's my conspiracy theory. Am I right? I don't fucking know. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you whether or not I'm right. I just think it's really cool to acknowledge different theories and stuff, because if you dismiss any and all theories that don't correlate with what you want it to be, then that's ignorance. That's you ignoring evidence for your own bliss. Cause you love it, and you know you can't get enough of it. Okay, I'm gonna continue to talk about this because I'm home alone right now and I don't have to worry about anybody fucking hearing me. I do not understand how people can justify everything that's happened in the Old Testament. Let's dive into the ideology of the New Testament for a second. So, God got better in the New Testament, I'm assuming. I haven't read it myself, I'm going off of what I've been told. He's doing better. Jesus came, he was the savior, yada, yada, yada. Whenever I talk about the things that happened in the Old Testament, the amount of comments justifying everything is crazy. You can acknowledge that those actions were horrific and malicious while still acknowledging that he got better and God grew. Maybe God as an entity, because again, I might be wrong about the aliens. Maybe God is the God of the universe, and the God of the universe had to evolve with humans. As humans learned how to treat people, how to be kind, God also evolved to learn how to be better, how to be kind, and how to be actually merciful. But the lack of acknowledgement that I see in people who are religious, the cognitive dissonance, it's not okay, guys. Not in this day and age. Not in 2024. Not with the amount of evidence we have for many different theories. You cannot count out any and all theories that just don't fit what you want it to be. I could be wrong about the Bible. The malicious, evil God in the Bible could be our God. And after I die, I'm having to talk with him. Because hell isn't even mentioned in the Bible. Like, the word hell, isn't, it doesn't say if you don't follow Christ, you're going to hell. I don't think that ignorance should be babied anymore. I think we need to start looking at ignorant people and being like, what you think is not okay. And if you're not going to take any kind of effort to look into what I'm trying to tell you, to even get a good idea of what I might be coming from, what my perspective might be, I'm not wasting my time with you anymore. You are a small-minded person who is a slave to society. And I feel bad for you. Genuinely. I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you. I want to be a kind, loving, accepting person. It's so hard, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do better. Like, I don't want to be talking like this and trying to be rude, but I wholeheartedly believe that we need to stop babying ignorant people. Yeah, I keep saying my point, and then once I make my point, I see it from the perspective of the person I'm trying to tell it to, and then I'm like, oh, but I don't want to be mean to them. But then I'm like, no, the point is that I'm no longer babying people who are not even doing the effort to even look into what I'm trying to tell them. If you want to be ignorant, if you want to not even take the effort to look at the other evidence surrounding what goes against your beliefs, listen, you can still have your beliefs if you look at the evidence. I don't care. But you can't ignore or deny evidence that goes against what you believe just because the cognitive dissonance in your brain can't accept it. We are living in a time where we need genuine change, and we need to stop babying people who have gotten away with certain behaviors for so long. And I'm not saying religious people, the religion, not the religious people. They have been brainwashed. It's not their fault. We need to start speaking out about religion, because religious people, they're nice. They deserve love. They deserve acceptance. I don't hate religious people. I hate the ignorance and the religion. Thank you. Because the ignorance is your action, taking an action or lack of to be ignorant, and the religion is not your fault, so I'm not gonna blame you for that, like the fuck. But yeah, I don't like the religion aspect of it. Hopefully in the future, whenever the anger subsides, like the anger I have about society right now, I think I'm in the 7 stages of grief. I'm like losing the person I used to be. I'm slowly coming out of that ignorant shell. I've never been like an ignorant person, but like I feel like growing up around ignorant people, you develop and you have certain core beliefs that kind of stem from that kind of behavior. So as I'm like crawling out of my skin, being like, no, this is what I'm fighting for. This is what I believe. This is what I want to speak up about. I want to spread awareness about this. I'm like grieving who I used to be. I'm going to be grieving a lot of relationships. I'm not holding myself back for people that can't even move forward. Let me say that again. I'm not holding myself back for people who can't move forward. Anyways, thank you guys for coming to my TED Talk. Hopefully as time goes on, I'll be able to develop more patience, more understanding. I can be really arrogant and condescending sometimes, which I don't intend to have that kind of tone, but it happens because I'm human. It's so stupid. But I need to get better about it. It's my choice. It's my actions. You know, I'm responsible for changing that behavior. I wish people would just understand I'm not the person trying to say I'm right. I'm trying to say I don't know, and that we shouldn't be ignorant to all of the evidence there is in the world just because we don't want to accept the fact that what we've been taught all our lives is a lie. It's a lie. We want to be in denial. We don't want to go through the grieving stages of having to unlearn a lot of these bad things we've been taught, but it's just like I understand it all, but so hard for me to hold understanding. So then I start to fall into judgment, condescending tones, arrogant tones, because I'm like, how do you guys not see this? Like I start to belittle people because I genuinely lose understanding of why they think the way they think. But then I have to remind myself that the society we live in has been curated perfectly this way, and there's a reason that people have such strong cognitive dissonance, or at least to the fact that they don't listen to anything. Like they won't even accept information. I could be so wrong. They don't have to respect or believe anything I have to say, but they need to accept that there are different perspectives in the world, and acknowledging them is important. Anyways, I really hope that my tone didn't come off too rude in this video. I know some parts were rude. This is just what I believe. I'm really excited for my trip across America. These next few months of my life are just going to be so amazing, and I'm so excited because I'm just going to learn so much. I'm going to be able to become my own person for the first time in my life. I love you guys, and I will see you guys in the next clip. Say bye, slob!
Every single time I post about religion, I am terrified that I am going to get kicked out. I have 3 weeks left until my solar eclipse trip, until I go down to Florida. I know this is a trauma response, and this is my CPTSD because of the lack of security that I've had all my life, because any single time people disagree with me or don't like who I am, I get discarded as a human being. Now, that hasn't happened yet. There has been a huge dynamic change in my friendships and a huge energy shift in my friendships, which we've all noticed, but we've all just kind of been trying to maintain the friendship, I guess. I understand it. I really wholeheartedly understand it. Not only would it be valid if they were to kick me out, because it is their home, it is their religion. I understand why they would not want someone who is actively speaking out against religion living in their house, especially since Miss Pam probably does hear me all the time. And I just understand how having a best friend who is so outspoken about something that you wholeheartedly believe in, and like the way I'm speaking about it is how much I don't like it, how much I disagree with it, how much I think we need to start having more clarifying conversations about these types of things. I can just understand the frustration, and I can understand how they feel. I just want to get out. I just want to leave because I don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want to feel trapped. I don't want to feel secluded. I just kind of want to go into a new energy. I just want to start this new chapter in my life already because I don't want to live in fear anymore. And I feel like I am surrounded by fearful energy and I feel it. And I've felt it for so long. And I know a good majority of it is because of my CPTSD. They haven't even indicated that they have any intentions of kicking me out or anything. I'm just really terrified because obviously I'd be fine. I have so little things. I would just pack everything, go in my car and start driving or go somewhere. But it's just the factor of what if my brain holds on to that, like, okay, you're gonna have to deal with conflict today. Today's going to be the day they speak up about it. Today's going to be the day that they decide to tell you that they don't want you here anymore. And the thing that I think frustrates me the most about that thought, because these are assumptions, these people have not shown me any evidence, I think, right now that they would do these things. These are just my BPD. These are the behaviors I've learned from my trauma. Fully aware of that. But I do have a hunch that once I move out, they're going to be extremely happy. I think I don't mentally want to come to terms with that because it's, again, valid. I understand I'm going against everything they believe in, everything they've been taught to believe. I feel it. Like, I know it's the BPD and like the assumptions in my head are me creating things so that way I can try to like leave them before they leave me, so I can detach before they detach from me. I get it, these are trauma responses, but I also feel like there's a little bit of validity to it. Like, I hope you know I've been best friends with this girl for 20 years and our friendship is completely different now. And it's been different even before I started reading the Bible. But now it's just, it is what it is. I just don't want to accept that like, my absence is going to make someone happy. They're going to be like, thank God she's gone. Now we can have our Christian household back, which again is completely valid. I understand that. That is a completely valid thing to want if that is your religion, if those are the beliefs that you believe in. Being a human is just so frustrating because it's so weird to acknowledge you're low-key always going to be someone's villain. You're the villain in somebody's story. I'm really excited to get in my car and start driving around and being around my family first and then going on a trip around America. I'm really excited, but I'm also really nervous because I'm thinking about things like the heat. I am severely heat intolerant. I have an AC in this room. It's 55 degrees outside and it's literally so hot in here. And I think the AC is on like 73 in the house or 72. I'm not sure. I would go fact check, but I don't want to get up. And it was burning hot for me. Like, I had to go outside, sit outside for a little bit in my skimpy ass outfit. I had to let myself cool down a little bit, come back in my room. It was still so warm. And it's like, how am I going to handle the summer in my car? Because I'm probably going to be in Florida until May, which it's even going to be hot during that time. And then I'm going to be going across the entire south of the United States in my car during the summer. It's going to be so hot. I just feel like I'm going to have a much better idea of what my life is going to look like once I'm finally in Florida because I'm not going to be stressing about so many of the things I'm kind of internally stressing about right now. I just have this vision in my head where everybody just wholeheartedly misunderstands me, which people typically do. Because of my videos of religion, people are making so many assumptions of who I am. And I know that's something that happens whenever you're a content creator. I've been a content creator basically my entire life. Like, I know that. But whenever it feels like it's people in your own personal life who watch your videos and then make assumptions about you when they could very well ask you themselves, when they make comments assuming things about you that aren't true, but you're supposed to be like best friends and you're like, you don't even know this simple thing about me. You completely misunderstand my entire character because you make assumptions off of the videos I make, just discourages me. And it's so disheartening, honest to God, because one of my friends made a comment being like, I know you don't believe in God. I know you're an atheist. And it's like, no, I believe in God. If anything, I believe in God now after starting this entire journey. I'm not an atheist. Maybe if you like talked to me about my interests and talked to me about my beliefs the way I have to you your entire life, you would understand that. But you know what? None of them have asked me anything. The way I feel is completely valid. None of my best friends ask me anything about me. They never ask me questions about my interests. They haven't asked me anything about my beliefs. They haven't asked me anything about why I've started this journey. All they've told me about is how offended they are because I started speaking up about my own beliefs. Did you guys think that me coloring in church and not paying attention to the preacher meant that I believed in your God? This is literally my therapy, and I post it publicly online for anybody and everybody to see. And one day I feel like it might bite me in the ass. I don't care because like literally I am in this stage of my life where I'm so detached from like everyone because I genuinely could not give a fuck if people cut me off because I just know my worth. Like, you don't want me in your life, okay, I don't want to be in your life. It's really that simple. Why would I be somewhere I'm not wanted? I love you. I love people. I will unconditionally love you for the rest of my life. That doesn't mean you're in my life for the rest of my life. That doesn't mean I have to crawl and beg for you to love me, crawl and beg for you to want to be my friend. No, I've done that for so many years. That is such a pathetic thing I've always done. And I'm done doing that. Like, I'm not begging you to want me. I don't care how long we've been friends. I don't care how long we've been acquainted. I don't care we just met the other day. If you don't want me in your life because you don't feel aligned to me, I'm proud of you. I encourage you to cut me off. I encourage you to do what's best for you because I'm doing that for myself. I'm not going to practice what I preach and then encourage other people to do the exact opposite. Do what's best for you. I just feel surrounded by so much negative energy. I am condescending all of the time. I feel so arrogant all of the time. I feel like the way my tone comes off, I'm just always angry in these videos I make whenever I talk about these specific things. I feel like I want to be a kind, loving, understanding person. I genuinely want to be that person. But I feel like I'm in this stage in my life right now where I don't have anybody to peer review my thoughts with because the only people I have to talk to about this stuff are either far away, or if I try to talk to them about it, they'll just tell me all the things I'm wrong about and how I shouldn't be thinking those things. It's not that I shouldn't be thinking these things, it's that I should be critically and productively thinking about it in a way that I'm not dismissing evidence or I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to have casual, calm conversations about the things I think should be talked about. But instead, I get really trapped in these mindsets of I don't understand why you guys don't understand this. Like, I don't understand how you guys think that God telling you to fear him 100 times in the Bible actually translate into him loving you. I don't understand how him committing mass genocide multiple times just because he got slightly angry and then Moses says, Lord, who is slow to anger, where? Slow to anger, where? I don't understand how people can justify those actions. I don't understand it. And I don't think that's something that should be understood. That is something that should be questioned and being like, hey, maybe this is why genocides are still happening in the world in Israel. You know, in the Bible, like it happened in the promised land, they just mass murdered people because they wanted what they had. And then they justified it because God is the one that gave it to them. God didn't give them the promised land. God told them where to go and how to take it. See, whenever I start to get to the point like this, I understand my own anger. I validate my own misunderstanding because there is no universe this should be justified. There is no universe that should ever be okay behavior that should be worshipped and praised. I made a video on my TikTok literally about it tonight. I made a video about fear and love and how a lot of people with religion can't tell the difference between the two because they've been conditioned to think they're synonymous. I talked about how if God is the epitome of love, why does he promote so much fear? If he's supposed to be everything love is, he's the literal creation of pure love. Those are his actions, and he promotes fear primarily throughout the book, towards maybe the last section of the book where it promotes a little bit of love. Just a little bit, guys. I haven't read the New Testament, so ignore my opinions about it because I haven't even read it. I don't have a valid opinion about the New Testament yet. I just wish I had people to peer review my thoughts with because I feel so alone and I so heavily don't want to be wrong. I want to talk to people and get their perspectives on what I'm thinking, and I want to see how they perceive it. I just want to be surrounded by people who are like me, who want to learn, who want to grow actively. I don't want to talk about other people all day, every day. People who don't concern me, talk about things that don't promote growth. Like, such a waste of time whenever people just spend all of their time gossiping about other people's lives. What's that Taylor Swift lyric? They'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. They'll literally look at shining stars, doing their own thing, living their life, making mistakes, learning lessons, but doing it proud. And they'll just stare directly at them, never focusing on themselves, never thinking about themselves, never thinking about where they want to go, how they want to grow, what mistakes they want to make, and what they want to learn from them. They just focus on other people. And I'm like, this is the energy you guys want for your life? This is how you enjoy your time here on earth? I am so strongly opinionated. I just want people to hear me and to understand me. And I feel like I'm never understood and I don't know why. Because to me, it's just common sense. Okay, maybe we shouldn't like justify genocide. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Maybe we just shouldn't justify a Lord God who wants to keep his subjects ignorant and stupid for his own worship. I don't know, like that's just weird. I don't know, maybe we shouldn't promote a book that actively talks about incest, rape, and encourages those types of lifestyles, especially in the beginning of it. Whenever I was going into reading the Bible, that was not what I was expecting to read, because that's not really how they talk about it in church. They don't talk about it in the manner that it's written. They use different vocabulary and they use different diction and tone to set the scene in a different way than it actually happened. I don't think I belong on this earth. Take me back home, please, God. Get me out of here. Also random, I have yogurt with M&Ms and it's pretty good. Maybe if I make this a really long episode, nobody will watch it. That way I can have true therapy with myself. I don't know. The thing I'm really conflicting with is if I'm actually being too condescending, if I'm being too hard on religion right now. I don't think I am. But also sometimes we can't make our best judgments, especially whenever we have nobody to peer review with. And I feel like all of the people I have to peer review with are kind of biased. My little sister texted me today and she was like, I really love what you're doing with your platform. I was like, oh, my little sister. I was so happy about that. I was like, oh my God. Because my intentions are not to come off rude and mean and hateful. I think I'm gonna have to make a lot of sacrifices and be hated by the internet for some period of time, because I think I'm meant to do great things, which means that's why I've had like a life of sacrifice. I had to go through so much abuse. I had to go through so much conditioning, so much abuse, so much hardship in the beginning of my life. That way I would have enough pain to wake myself up whenever I'm old enough to see all the harm in the world so I can actually make change. But I also think that being a truth teller or someone with an open mind is going to be rejected for a little bit. I don't think people are going to listen to me. People are going to twist what I'm saying. Most people don't watch my YouTube. I don't blame them. These episodes are like hours long, but they don't actually know who I am. They make assumptions on who they think I am, which again, I know is a part of the internet. I don't know. Like, how do you know your strong opinions are right? Like, there was this one quote from one of my old YouTube videos I was watching. How can you verify that what you claim to be true is true? What a good quote. How can you verify that what you claim to be true is true? I think that if you have beliefs and if you're within a religion and if you choose that lifestyle, it is for you. My opinion on religion doesn't mean anything. Now is my cause to spread awareness on the inconsistencies within religion and to start opening back up this conversation in today's modern times. 100%. 100%. Me talking about this does not strip people of their freedom of religion. It doesn't strip them from the fact that they're entitled. I also have beliefs. I also have faith. I am also doing what a lot of other people are doing, thinking what they know is right. But at the end of the day, we don't really know. And I feel like faith is not bad. The only time faith is bad is within these kind of religions, like the Abrahamic religions that are based in fear and they're forced onto other people and they are extremely harmful within other people's lives that aren't within the faith. Just like how in our government, the Christian beliefs are being written into our legislator. Our rights are being taken away as women. We are losing our autonomy of what we are allowed to do to our body because of other people's religious beliefs. That's the beef I have with religion. If you are having beliefs that are actively harming other people's lives, maybe you need to like disconnect yourself from the religion. Have your beliefs, have your faith. God is there, or at least within my beliefs, but you can't see it from the lens of what you've always been taught. You have to broaden your perspective. God is a very, very complex concept for a human. You can't just ignore all evidence of everything and just think that your one perspective. I think all of us and all people need to do true self-reflection on our intentions, our actions, our behaviors, and really take a deep dive, figure out why we do the things that we do. I've done this for years. I know so much about myself. The reason I am significantly better than I was a year ago, still struggle a lot, that doesn't go away, but I am a lot better within mindset because I learned so much. Education is power. Literally, your mind is capable of so much. If you understand yourself, like for me, I have borderline personality disorder. It is a brainwashed condition. You are brainwashed to think all of the wrong ways of life. You are taught to think things like everybody hates you. You are taught to think that you are a burden. These are things that are brainwashed and conditioned into your head growing up unwillingly, just like a lot of other things that you are taught to think is how life works. And then whenever people like me go into life, we realize, oh shit, this is nothing like what we were taught to think is right. This is actually all wrong. But because we were taught to think it was right, we grew up with the core belief thinking it was right. And then we had to deconstruct those beliefs. So like with borderline personality disorder, I thought everybody hated me. I thought I was a burden. I thought that I wasn't deserving of life. No, I'm very deserving of life. I'm here for a reason, aren't I? I have flesh, I have blood. I'm here for a reason. This is just my therapy because anytime I'm struggling, I just turn on my fucking camera and record myself. And I'm like, I have nobody to talk to because nobody thinks like me. So let me talk to a camera and post a video that very little people are actually gonna see. I'm tired. I want to go to bed earlier, wake up earlier, but then I always end up staying up super late because I just mindlessly scroll because I get so stressed and I keep thinking, what am I forgetting? I can't go to bed because I'm forgetting something. I can't go to bed. I have to get something done. And then next thing I know, it's 4 a.m. And I'm like, oh, even if I did have something that needed to get done, I didn't even do it. Even if you did forget the thing you needed to get done, Steph, like you didn't do it. You just scrolled all night trying to remember something that you didn't forget. But that's ADHD for you. I think I need to end the video because I think I just need more time to collect my thought. I just get a certain way whenever I talk about this. Like I get into a way of like misunderstanding, like frustration, anger. Like what is it that I feel? Like I don't know what I'm feeling and I don't know what tone is specifically coming off, but I just don't like it because I know it's not an efficient form of communication. Talking down to people is not an efficient way to educate people because then they're definitely not going to listen to you. And I know that. And it's like, it's so hard to hold understanding for these things. I need to be as understanding and compassionate as possible, but it is so hard sometimes whenever I'm literally watching. Someone commented under my post saying, here, I'll put it right here actually, you can't murder what you create. That's the logic, people. I'm autistic and also a bitch. Thank you guys for watching this video. Seriously, this one's probably going to be an extremely long episode. I am kind of excited to edit it though because I love listening to myself talk because I do think I'm insightful. Anyways, but if you learned absolutely nothing from this video, you gained nothing, you gained no insight, you actually hate me even more as a person now after watching this video, please just leave this video knowing you are sexy, you are valid, and you are so loved, and I will see you in the next episode.
Hope you like my videos. Is there anything else I'm supposed to say as a YouTuber?